The role of sockets in the TCP/IP stack. Now, this is actually very simple, but it's a common misconception. People find this difficult. A socket, to understand what a socket is a combination of an IP address and a port number. So a socket is one endpoint of a two-way communication link on a network. So it's defined by that IP address and the port number. And the key reason we have these is because without them, you couldn't have multiple connections between different machines. And this gets even more complicated when we start to include the idea of visibly looking like you're one machine when you're actually a whole network, with this idea of you only have one unique IP address on the internet for a whole network. But we'll come back to that later. Don't worry about that too much if you don't understand that at the minute. But anyway, this idea of this IP address. Now, if these two IP addresses are communicating, the IP address might not actually be unique. Okay, so this machine might have multiple connections from that IP address, especially, like I said, when the IP address is actually changed when it gets to the router, if it goes out on the network, that you might have, let's say we've got a school, we've got 1,000 machines, let's say 50 of them are connecting to the same website at the same time. The IP address, that will be the same for all 50. If you don't understand that, look at NAT, Network Address Translation Protocol, and that will make more sense. But this IP address might potentially be the same. The port numbers, again, the port numbers are, some of them have specific meanings, others are virtual, and they change depending on connection with different machines to help keep this unique. So the IP address or the port number might not be unique from this communication point of view, but the combination of the two will be, which is why sockets are so important for two computers to be able to communicate online, because the socket is the bit that is unique, not necessarily the IP address or the port number, but the combination of the two will be, which is how hardware is going to be able to identify where the data is going.